Thanks so much for the welcome introduction. Thank you. Hi, good afternoon. I'm Betty. Thanks for you all coming here today. I'm really excited to present our research projects on decoding loss aversion in financial decision making. So the idea is I'm going to show you how we can decompose the individual differences in the loss aversion into the financial confidence, financial literacy, as well as the uncertainty perception. So hopefully you all can find this topic interesting and at least some part of the content useful. So these days, there have been an increasing trend in the daily trades as well as the retail investors, which is a good thing because people begin to do the investment. However, people make irrational choices, which is very dangerous when you are making the investment decisions. Why people are making irrational decisions and how we can reduce our loss aversion when we are making the decisions. So loss aversion have been playing a very significant role in the investment decisions. Just imagine right now you have even chance of winning $10 and losing $10. Are you going to take the risk? Great, I see it. Amazing. But most of you guys have the tendency to not to take the risk, right? So the tendency to avoid the loss at the expense of the same gain is what we call the loss aversion. And our investment behaviors also depends on our uncertainty perception. So for people who believe the uncertainty in the events are arbitrary, random, they tend to believe the event is completely unpredictable. However, for people who believe the uncertainty in the events are epistemic or knowable, they tend to believe they can manage the events as long as they have enough knowledge. So what happens when we make investment decisions under these different uncertainty perceptions? For people who believe the stock market is completely random, unpredictable, they tend to diversify as well as evenly allocate their assets. And they prefer to stay within their risk preference. While for people who believe the stock market is predictable, manageable, as long as they have enough knowledge in this area, they tend to allocate their assets differently. For example, people may invest more proportions of their monies in the stock market. And they are more likely to pay for the financial advisor or search Google for more information when they make the investment decisions. So what our research want to do is, first, we want to unpack individual differences from a brain science perspective, investigating what explains loss aversion. Second, we want to devise a more objective way to review individual differences in the financial decisions. And more importantly, we want to segment these retail investors and provide a more customized individual financial profiles in the investment applications. So loss aversion, previous research have been attributed the loss aversion to valuation bias, which means people tend to weigh the loss more than the gain. However, when we make the decisions, it's not just based on the valuation bias. So we propose that the loss aversion can be attributed to both valuation bias as well as the response bias. The response bias is the tendency to say no to those choices that will lead to the potential loss. So the driven diffusion model here, which is a joint model to decompose the decision making into valuation bias as well as the response bias. And the model explains the decision making as an evidence accumulation process, which depends on the starting point of the accumulation, as well as the rate of the evidence accumulation. So the starting point here is our bias. When we don't have any bias, it will be in the middle. So we don't have any bias for both binary choices. What if you have the bias to not buy the stock? You are going to have a lower starting point, which means you are going to take less response time to make the decisions to not buy the stock. Similarly, the drift rate, which is the rate of the evidence accumulation. When you have a higher drift rate, you're also going to take less response time to make the decisions. So we are using this model to evaluate the response bias and valuation bias based on our choice data as well as the response time data. So our previous research have proved that the loss aversion can be decomposed to the DDM biases. And there are also research showing that our investment behavior can be impacted by our uncertainty perception. So, can we decompose the DDM biases from the stock investment game we make into the individual differences in financial confidence, financial literacy, as well as the uncertainty perception? So we make this loss aversion investment gain. There is an even chance for the stock to increase or decrease. So you can earn either up to $10 or lose up to $10. And as a result, you can see on the left side, so in the most cases, people are more likely to not buy the stock. They are going to refuse to buy the stock. This is what a typical loss aversion. And also, based on the expected value from the left side, you can see that if you want the investors to buy the stock, you have to show them they are more likely to get a higher gain compared to the loss. And if they have a higher expected value when they make the investment decisions, they tend to take longer response time to make the decision. And people can have very high response bias. So the model we are using, which is evaluated by the DIC score, you can see that the model fits the data the best when we include both the valuation bias and the response bias together. And we are also using the self-reported data to evaluate our financial confidence level, as well as the uncertainties scaling. So the first three questions will be used to evaluate the epistemic uncertainty, while the last three questions will be used to evaluate the aleatory uncertainty. So after applying the DDM bias to the financial literacy and financial confidence, we get the results. So you can see in the plots, when you have a lower financial confidence, you have a high valuation bias, which means you tend to weigh loss more than the gain. And when you have a low financial literacy, people are more susceptible to the randomness, to the aleatory randomness. So for people who have a very high aleatory uncertainty type, they are going to have a very high response bias, which means they are more likely to tend to say no to the choices that lead to the loss. Before going to the practical applications, I would like to mention our key takeaway here is we can decompose the individual differences in the loss aversion into the individual differences in financial confidence, financial literacy, as well as our uncertainty perception. So how can we make rational decisions, right? If you have a very high valuation bias, what can you do? You can shift your attention from loss to the gain to reduce your valuation bias. What if you have a very high response bias? You can either change your perception of the uncertainty from aleatory to epistemic, Or you can also increase your financial literacy level to reduce your response bias. So by doing this, we are hoping to help people make more rational decisions when doing the investment decision. So at the end of the presentation, I would like to give the special thanks to these 4 special people: Michael Platt, Jin Ho Yun, Zeb Johnson, and Charlotte McQuaig. They have been very supportive to me and give me so many guidance, help. Without them, I will never arrive this point. So thanks for their help. I'm so appreciate. So yeah, this is my presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And if you want to reach out to me or discuss it later, please feel free to contact me afterwards. Thank you.